So anyway, like when I say stress now in this video, that means emphasized in the context of the sentence. And when I say full and half, which I used to call stress and de-stress, that means like in the actual phonetic realization, it's like stress versus de-stress. So like really what that is like practically speaking, full versus half contour versus contourless. It just reduces the pitch. So yeah, in this video, I'm just making you aware that it can get reduced to just pitch. Hey everybody, I want to talk about the fact that when you talk fast in standard Chinese, or like standard Mandarin as I call it, and also I'm sure other Chinese and really just like tonal languages probably in general, you're not gonna see the entire like tone contour like be manifested like throughout the speech if it's like flowing speech, because you could say something like I'm just gonna give an example with my brother's name. Okay, so my brother's name is Zhang Xiaofeng, 141. Zhang first tone, right? So the pitch is like 5/5. 5 just means it's high. 5 to 5 means it stays high. 5 going to 5. Zhang Xiao. That's fourth tone, which is 5 to 1 in standard Chinese. So xiao. Okay, and then feng, 5/5 again. Feng first tone. So 1/4/1. Mm, mm. So when I say it fast, 张笑风, I don't say it like that. I don't say 张笑风. I mean, you could say it and like we would understand what you're saying, but what really happens is the fourth tone, because that's not staying at one pitch. The first tone it's staying at one pitch, so like that's fine. But the fourth tone, it goes from 5 to 1. In fast speech, here's the key. This is, it's not like 100% this way, but this is a good way to think about it. You're going to take the average pitch throughout that syllable, throughout like the duration of that syllable. Take the average pitch of that tone, fourth tone, so it goes from 5 to 1. Then the average pitch, like if it goes from 5 to 1, is the midpoint, which is 3, which is like medium high. It reduces to that, just the pitch. So you believe that Mandarin tones are distinguished from each other on the basis of their the fact that they have different slopes, right? 1, 2, 3, and then 4. But now take the average pitch. So 4, which goes from 5 to 1, becomes level 3. With the numbering, with the naming of the tones, it's kind of confusing because it's like 4 is 3. Now the tone called 4 has a pitch level value of 3. Okay, I mean the 3 doesn't mean any like specific like measurement. It just means it's like relatively lower than 5, because 5 is greater than 3. So like 张晓峰, how I would actually say it is 张晓峰. 张, I mean, I kind of reduce the C to like a E sound, like X to becomes like a Y sound. That can sometimes happen. 张晓峰, 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 张晓峰. No, 张晓峰, 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 张晓峰. Da. So like what I'm internalizing is actually not the fact that it's 1/4/1. Neither am I internalizing that it's like in flowing speech. I might even consider that the wrong contour. I mean, it's not wrong, like, because you technically said it right. But no, the 4 gets reduced to just a pitch of level 3. So the actual contour in my mind that I'm internalizing is like da 张晓峰 mm, da, 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 It's like this dipping sort of like, In fact, that's how I learned all my words in Chinese, because my parents would say things to me. And I understand that, like, I'm supposed to, like, even without, like, consciously understanding, subconsciously, I say it the way they say it, which includes, in a language, like Mandarin, the tone contour. So any word that I hear, like, I'm not memorizing literal, like, numbers of the tones, like what they're called. It's just the contour. So, like, I can actually imagine that there are some Chinese people, maybe who haven't, like, studied, um, like, grammar or pronunciation, like, haven't looked at the language in this sort of nerdy way. Maybe they're old and haven't, gone to, like, school to properly study this, like, in much detail. They might not even know that, like, there are, like, technically, like, 4 different tones, because you don't think about that. You don't think about that fact. If you ask, like, an old Chinese person, what tone is this, like, they might not know. They really might not know. First of all, because, like, there's so many dialects and the tones are just, like, different across the dialects. Second, because you cannot think about this consciously. The reason I'm making these videos is so that you can, like, analyze it, just, if you're curious, so you know what's going on. But what that should tell you is you need to just listen and remember how to say the word. Like, have the audio, like, just playing in your head. And associate that with meaning. That's the only way you're gonna, like, learn it and internalize the language. So let's do a few more examples. So you might say, what if instead of 141 we had 121? So I'm gonna say it in the context of a name again, so that the, like, stressing, de-stressing sort of dynamics, I'm, like, holding that constant basically. So let's say if my brother, instead of being called Zhang Xiaofeng, right? Instead of that, what if he was called Zhang Bojun or something? Zhang Bojun, which is not my brother's name. I just made that up. But that's a 121 name because it's Zhang Bo 3 to 5, pitch level 3 to 5. That's tone 2, and Jun, that's first tone. Sounds like a maybe like a popular. I don't know about popular because Chinese names are supposed to be unique, but it sounds like a boy's name. Okay, I just made that up. So if I were to say Zhang Bojun, fast, Zhang Bojun, Zhang Bojun, Zhang Bojun, da 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 da, Zhang Bojun, Zhang Bojun, Zhang Bojun, like da 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 da. The second tone, the second syllable, which has a second tone, notice it barely changed its pitch compared to the 2 tones that are on either side of it. Zhang Bojun, da 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 da, because it's like bo 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 bo. You can sort of say it fast and have that, like, rise, like bo 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 bo. Like, it's not wrong to have some of that contour in it, but, like, if you go really fast to the point where it gets reduced to a pitch, I'm saying that pitch, you could call that pitch 4 out of 5. What I mean by that is that it's lower in pitch than first tone, because first tone is level 5. Second tone, it goes from level 3 to level 5, so the midpoint is like 4, level 4. Fourth tone goes from 5 to 1, so the midpoint is level 3. So, like, you have first tone, level 5, second tone, level 4, fourth tone, level 3. And then third tone, because it goes 2 to 1, would be, like, technically like 1.5, which it doesn't really matter. It's just, like, low. Compared, like, 1.5 versus, like, 3, 4, 5, it's lower. The half, like, doesn't mean anything there. Okay, so Zhang Bojun versus, like, Zhang Yaofeng, Zhang 张 Okay, so I'm gonna try to say both, but like hum it or like I'll say it like 张晓峰张嗯嗯versus 张伯钧嗯嗯嗯 one is one is you could even just say it the same way and like it would be fine because well for these names like I guess you would like like probably know the people so you would understand like what's being said. And if it were a common noun and not a proper noun like a name, you would probably just recognize the word. So I guess like 张晓峰的的的的的的的的 one for one da. It's like the difference is so minute, but like your ears will become tuned to it if you just listen more. Now I do want to clarify that in past videos I was talking about if you stress a word that, for example, has 2 syllables, you are going to be now concerned with, because my channel talks about this, whether when the word is stressed, you pronounce both syllables full or like one full and one half. And previously I called like full half, I called them stressed and de-stressed. But for the purpose of distinguishing between like phonetic realization versus like a discourse level property of whether you want to like emphasize that word in the context of the sentence, now I distinguish between the terms like stressed versus full, like de-stress versus half or like contourless. So I'm going to use the words full, half, and contourless for describing like actual phonetic, like acoustic, realization, like the actual pitches. You can record and analyze pitches. So that's full, which I called stress earlier in previous videos, half, and then like contourless. And then the word stressed here means like stressed in the context of a sentence, like you want to emphasize this thing. Okay. So when you do want to emphasize something, then in previous videos I was talking about how you can distinguish based on various factors between like let's say full versus full half when you de-stress. Now when you don't emphasize it or you don't like stress it, and now the word is not being emphasized in the sentence, now you wouldn't even say like full or like full half, because like you wouldn't even have the full. It would just be half and half. So all those factors that actually distinguished like within a word, whether you have one morpheme, like one 字, one character that's like de-stress or half, that goes out the window because everything is de-stress. Everything is half now. Let me give an example. 鸡蛋 means chicken egg, and 机器 means machine. So I'm reading this now in like the sort of like book, the textbook like register, where everything is full. Kids reciting from a textbook will say 机器, but nobody says 机器 to mean like machine in real life, because 机 and 器 by the way, for this particular word, they basically mean the same thing. Or I'm saying like this is a type of Chinese word where the two halves really kind of mean the same thing. They're kind of synonyms. And in those words, what I've said in the past is you de-stress the second syllable. So you say 机器. Tones are 1 and 4. 机器. The qi is like 5 to 1, right? But now it's de-stressed, so it's 3 to 1. 机器 qi. Instead of ji, qi. It's ji, qi, da, 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 da. But notice that the da still has a like contour. It still goes from 3 to 1. There's still a slope there. Da. So what I'm saying in this video is that like if the word is unstressed, in fact, it doesn't just stop at half-half for both like jidan and jiti. You can actually take it further. And most people will, like the vast majority of people when they talk fast, they will like, unless they talk very deliberately. And I've noticed like kind of the same thing with like Spanish. People just talk so fast that, you know, things sort of like glide through. In Chinese, you have the like it goes from half to contourless. That process that happens. So now instead of saying ji, jidan and jiqi, well that's stressed. And then you have one layer of like de-stressing. So now it's jidan and like jidan. It's jidan, which is like kind of like 3 or 4 in pitch level. Jidan. It could be high. It could be 5 as well. But like jidan and jiji, da. So notice from like stressed, you have jidan, and then it becomes jidan. And then when it's contourless, like even more de-stressed, the halves become contourless. So de-stressed, more de-stressed, half contourless. De-stressed, like half, so like jidan, contourless. So further de-stressed, contourless. So jidan. I'm saying it fast, but like really what's going on is the pitch, like the contour is reduced to pitch. For first tone, it might like drop a little bit in tone, just based on like if the other tones around it are like sort of lower in average pitch, then that'll sort of like bring the first tone like down a little bit. But like the point is that it reduces to pitch. So like for jiqi, you have jiqi, that's textbook, right? And then stressed, you have jiqi, stressed normal conversation, jiqi. And then for one level of de-stressing, it becomes like jiqi. Maybe instead of like 5, 3, 1, now it's like 4, 3, 1, right? Jiqi. So jiqi. So instead of like jiqi, which is like one level of de-stressing, jiqi, da, maybe like 4, 3, 2, jiqi, da, you still have that contour. Now, second level, contourless, jiqi, da, it's just like 4, 2, or like maybe 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3, jiqi. I'll probably say 4, 2 actually sounds better, jiqi. So notice like you have like 4 different ways you can say the word machine. Jiqi, textbook. Jiqi, stressed. Jiqi, de-stress. And then like more de-stress. Jiqi. There's no contour anymore. It doesn't go down. It doesn't slide down. Jiqi. And really, like, when people de-stress, they don't think about, oh, there's this one level, there's this other level. It's more like you're in between. And you can even go from, like, de-stress in general, and there's, like, a spectrum between that and, like, stress. Because there are some words in a sentence that you want to put like maybe moderate emphasis on, but you're not like completely emphasizing it. So all of this is really a spectrum. But I've I've distinguished between 4 different levels on that spectrum. Even the textbook, like you can even like extend the spectrum like to that. So, but just listen. The contour is like it goes from 机器 to 机器，机器的机器 in a very smooth way. 机器机器机器机器机器. The difference with 鸡蛋 is in the stressed version, like the second highest register, instead of becoming full half, like 机器, it remains full, as if it were textbook. So 鸡蛋 they're the same, 鸡蛋, and then you have to lower the 2 de-stress levels. So 鸡蛋, which is textbook and stressed, and then the lower levels would be like 鸡蛋 da 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 da. It's just lower and the pitches are like just not as steep. 鸡蛋 da da. So like 5 5 1 5 1 5 1 down 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 down. Now becomes 鸡蛋, like maybe 4, like 3 1. 鸡蛋. And then the lowest level, like contourless, like de-stressed. Now it's like 鸡蛋 so 机器 鸡蛋 鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡蛋鸡鸡. I would say like in normal discourse, I would still maybe at that level say the 2 a little differently. No, that's actually not true because I just wouldn't be at that level. Because it's all a spectrum. Like, there's a lot of wiggle room in it. But my rules about like when it's stressed, I still believe all of that information I gave previously to be the case. So I'm gonna share this passage that my dad like said in a WeChat message. Well, I'll just read it first, the way he says it, like with his intonation, because I remember I made a note of like what his intonation was. He said it like this: 张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿出来，从冰箱里，中午咱们把它吃了。So he's saying 张晓峰, that's my brother. He's saying 张晓峰，你让妈妈, you let mom. Really, it means you tell mom to do something. 你让妈妈把那个 take that 剩的 leftover 那个 that. So he says 那个剩的那个. He said 那个 twice. It's kind of a colloquial thing. You can say 那个剩的土豆沙拉，或者 even you can say 剩的那个土豆沙拉。But it's just very colloquial that you can put 那个 like on either side of the adjective. So 那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来。剩的那个土豆沙拉 leftover that potato salad 土豆沙拉. He emphasized 沙拉, so he's pronouncing 沙拉in the stressed way. And that is one of the words where both syllables would be stressed. So 沙拉 da 1 4 沙拉. But notice 土豆 potato 土豆 da 3 4, right? 3 4 potato right? Potato. 土豆. It's funny to say English words, but like with a Chinese intonation. You might actually want to do that to help you remember if it helps. But 土豆, right? Potato. 3 4. 土豆. He didn't say 土豆. He said it more like 土豆 da 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 da. So like I think he like fully de-stressed it actually. 土豆, because that's like 土 would be pitch level like 1.5, because third tone, remember, goes from 2 to 1. So the average level is 1.5 in the contourless version. 土豆土豆土豆. So, and then the do bean, like dirt bean, right? Potato. The bean, do, 5 to 1. It's the fourth one. It goes 5 to 1, so it's 3. So it goes 1.53. Da 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 da, like that. 土豆土豆土豆. He's not saying 土豆土豆. Like the do, like you don't have time to like slide down. You don't have time, so that's why you just say it as a pitch. 土豆土豆沙拉. So like 土豆 1.5, 3, 沙 5, so 1.5, 3, 5, 5, 1. Da 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 da. So you can da 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 da. It's so like stair steppy, but when you say the whole word potato salad, 土豆沙拉, da, it follows that. So like when you say it even faster, it's not even that it's the pitch. It's really the contour of the whole word that you're really like internalizing, like right before you say the word. So it looks like that. 土豆沙拉土豆沙拉 Torah. Like you can even get rid of all the consonants and make it just like one syllable. Torah. Ah. And it would have that contour. But if you said that even faster, it would be like Torah. Da 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 tra 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 tra. Torah Torah. Nobody would talk that fast, but 你要妈把那个声Torah 拿来。Torah 拿来 Torah. You said like really fast like that. Torah 拿来 Torah 拿来 Torah. So Torah. So this, it becomes kind of like a rising, falling, so it kind of becomes like tone 2, tone 4. So like Torah sha Torah sha Torah. But then 2, 4, what does that reduce to? 2 technically is like it's a flatter, so it's da da. Torah sha Torah Torah Torah. Well, the reason it's second tone is because it appears to be second tone because it goes from 1.5 to 3 to like 5, right? So it really actually starts lower. So, but well, the 1.5 is higher than the 1. That shala, it goes to 1, but it starts at 1.5. So it technically is, it does start higher. So the slope actually should technically be like flatter. And also this is like 3 syllables, and then the la is 1 syllable. So yeah, it is sort of like 2, 4, but the like tone 2, tone 4, but instead of 3, 5, it would start from 1.55, which is basically the same thing. Like nobody's like that exact, I think. Well, not really, because I mean, our ears are really sensitive. Your ears have to be. You gotta listen more, basically. 图啥？当然，当然，图啥？ So you can sort of like recursively like make it more and more reduced. Now the last thing I want to point out, he says 拿出来, sorry, 拿回来, and then he corrects himself and says 拿出来, 拿回来, 拿出来. So like 拿回来 is a de-stressed way to say take it back. But then he's like, no, it's not take it back from the refrigerator. It's take it out from the refrigerator. Like he used the wrong word there. 拿回来, because 回 means like to return, come back. 出 means to exit, out, to go out. 拿出来. Notice he doesn't emphasize the 出. He emphasizes the 拿, the taking action. Because if you were to emphasize the word, 就是那个词拿出来，对吧？拿 here is going to be the one that has full, and then the others are going to be half. So it's 拿出 出来. So it's like 3, 5, 4, which is the destress 1, 来, like 3, 4, or maybe 2, 4. So it's a destress second tone. It's a half second tone. Da, 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 da. 拿出来. That's if the whole word is stressed there. Now 拿回来. 拿回来, 回来, 回来. To. But in the original sentence, like before he corrected himself, that verb, to take the potato salad, to take it, he said take it back. He wasn't trying to emphasize it because he was emphasizing the potato salad. Like if he said, oh, tell mom to take that leftover potato salad out from back from the fridge. Oh no, I mean out from the fridge, right? But in Chinese, it's not the preposition, it's the whole verb. But like the preposition part, like the directional part, sort of comes like in between. It's part of the resultative complement there. The 回来出来. So he's saying 拿回来 as like all 3 of those as halves, because he's not emphasizing the word that has the 3 syllables. But then when he corrects himself, now he wants to emphasize it, not because the word is like worth emphasizing, but he's only stressing it because he's correcting himself, because he wants to make himself clear. And you don't have to like go to full textbook mode to make yourself clear. You don't have to say, 哦，把那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来。No. 土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来. I might be inclined to correct myself a different way. Personally, I would probably say 拿回来，拿出来. Because, I'm a linguistics nerd, and I realized that it was the middle syllable that is actually the only one that's changing. But to him, it's like, yo, take it back, take it out. No, those are 2 different things, right? He might be aware that like the middle word is the only thing that's different, but it's like on the level of the word, that's where the actual like stress or emphasis is. And then on the pitch level, like the actual phonetic level, 拿回来, you can say all those half, or you can like just reduce it to like just pitches. So what would that be? It's 2, 2, 2, right? 拿回来, 拿回来, 拿回来. But also something that happens is toward the end of a sentence, the pitch can just sort of like fall. Because neutral tone kind of does that. So 拿回来, 拿回来, da. Because it's the end of a sentence, so like the pitch would go down. So like da, da, da. Da, 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 拿回来. So like it's successively sort of like going down kind of, but each one is like going up. Because it's tone 2, it's a rising tone, right? Rise, rise, rise. Da, 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 da. But when you say it like so fast that it's not even half anymore, it's just da, da, like 拿回来, 拿回来. I mean, really, I think, because I said like it's a spectrum, right? It goes from 拿回来, or really it goes from 拿回来 to 拿回来. It's like 拿回来, 拿回来. It's like 拿回来. Like, there are different points in that scale that you can be in. Some people might be more deliberate in their speech, so when they have unstressed words, and even deliberate people will de-stress words. Maybe unless they, like speak a totally different Chinese language, or even didn't speak Chinese and like they learned it and they thought that it would sound natural, or maybe it's just easy to them to like stress everything. Like I know people who actually do stress everything, but like usually they are not like native speakers of like standard Chinese. Like they maybe speak like 福州话 or something, and then 普通话they learn like when they go to school or like later on. So 拿回来, 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 拿回来. So when I say 拿回来, I'm still stressing the word. 拿回来. 拿回来。Now I'm not straight away. 拿回来，拿回来，拿回来，拿来，拿来，拿来，拿来，拿来，拿来，拿来。So like 拿来，拿来。So da da da. Like I'm not saying da da da. It's no. Just listen to the whole passage again, and there's so much art because like you can, when you internalize these tones, you can anticipate yourself like saying it the way you want to say it, with the amount of stress that you want, with the emphasis that you want. And when you don't emphasize, you can still like, how much do you want it to like, you know, have the tone sort of like smooth out? How much do you want it to smooth out? You want to smooth out just halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way, maybe like 1/3 of the way, 1/4 of the way, just nothing. I mean, that's up to you. But listen more and you'll be able to hear like the levels of de-stressing that are like possible. So let me read this like several times in kind of different ways. I'll try to make those different ways like in regards to like the like style of de-stressing or stress or like just intonation in general. I'll just vary my intonation in general. This will be fun. 张笑峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来啊，从冰箱里啊，中午咱把它吃了。OK， 张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了。哎，张峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。啊，中午咱们把它给吃了。哎，张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了。No, that one sounded weird. That was weird. 张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了。张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了。张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了吧。OK， 张晓峰，你让妈妈，你就让她把那拿出来吧，那个剩的土豆沙拉从冰箱里，你就让她拿出来吧，你就让她拿出来啊。That one's weird. That's like if he was like hesitant to let mom take it out, and it's like just do it, 你就让她，你就 like just let her, just tell her, you know， 你就让妈妈把它，你就告诉她，你就 right。 张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了。张晓峰，你让妈妈把那个剩的那个土豆沙拉拿回来，拿出来，从冰箱里。中午咱们把它给吃了吧。